Hi there, welcome to my third Why I Enjoy My Photography video. So at the time this video goes out, I'm going to be in Italy, but I am planning to film lots of content while I'm out there. I've even got a scuba dive planned with my GoPro, so hopefully that will happen. But because I'm going to be away, that's why I'm doing my third behind the scenes video. So I'm going to talk about some of my favourite photographs from some of my favourite videos in this video, and I'm going to explain why I enjoy my photography. Just before the video gets started, I want to let you know of a few ways that you can support the channel. There are lots of items in my Teespring store, and there's a link for that down below in the description. A really big thank you to everybody that's bought something. It's such a big help and it really is appreciated. You can also do all the stuff with the buttons down below, such as clicking like, subscribe and sharing the videos, and don't forget to click the bell. Thanks so much for watching. Now sit back and I hope you enjoy the video. So I can't believe I've got to my third Why I Enjoy My Photography video without talking about Whitby. Whitby is one of my wife and myself's favourite places to visit in the UK, and I've had some brilliant shots that I've taken from Whitby. Now this particular morning I visited Saltwick Bay and I had to get up very early in the morning. I was up at about 4:30 because the sun rose at just before 6 o'clock, and I was also trying to coincide being at the location for low tide, which was very important to actually gain access to this site. When I got down onto the beach, the light was just starting to pick up, and this is what is called blue hour. And you can get some really interesting shots in blue hour before the sun rises, but what is particularly special about Saltwick Bay is there's a shelf of rock that juts out into the sea that collects a little layer of water that's only about 3 to 5 centimeters deep, so you can easily walk into it, but it creates some really great reflections. And you've got this rock here that juts out that provides a really interesting focal point, and there's also a shipwreck as well. It was on this beach at Saltwick Bay where I got my best sunrise I've ever photographed that's on the screen at the moment. It was just one of those moments where you're punching the air because you just cannot believe what you are seeing. And so this shot, even though it wasn't taken on the day that I filmed the video, is probably one of my favourite sunrise shots that I have ever taken. The conditions were looking really promising to begin with, because when I got down onto the beach, the blue hour was really spectacular, and there was this lovely bank of cloud behind the outcrop of rock that's called Black Nab, and I thought that this would really light up well when the sun actually rose. But unfortunately, as the clouds started to move across the sky, it started to disappear, and by the time the sun actually rose, all the cloud had completely disappeared, which was a real shame, and that's the way it goes sometimes in landscape photography. So this is probably one of my favourite shots. It's not my ultimate favourite from the morning, I'll save that till later, but the reason that I like it, I like the colours from blue hour, I like the way that it's balanced. You've got the rock that's in the foreground, you've got the outcrop of rock there in the background on the thirds, and then that cloud that is reflected in the water as well. And those little four rocks that just help to bring the whole thing together. So one of the main attractions at Saltwick Bay is the Admiral von Trump. It's this shipwreck here on the screen. Now this ship ran aground, and some even think that it might have been ran aground on purpose, but I can't confirm or deny that. But either way, it makes for a really interesting focal point for a composition, and I've got many shots of this on different occasions, some with the Black Nab outcrop of rock between that little bit of metal that juts up into the air, and there's all kinds of different ways of taking this, either at wide angle or close up. It just makes for a really interesting focal point. Unfortunately, this morning, because the cloud had disappeared, it wasn't a very spectacular sky, so I have got much better shots of this particular location. Being in a location when the sun actually rises is a really magical experience, and being by the coast is an extra special bonus. Now, this morning there was another photographer on the beach, and I included her in this shot here as she was taking photographs of the sunrise. I just think it gives a nice scale to the image, and it just shows off just how amazing it was. You can see that cloud bank that had drifted away. Unfortunately, it didn't light up and pick up any of the light from the sunrise, which is a real shame. But still, being in that location on that moment where the sun just pops above the horizon is just something that is out of this world. We'll come to my favourite shot from the morning. It's probably not one that everybody will like, but I just like the way that the bank of cloud in the sky balances the shipwreck and the outcrop of rock on the third there, and there is that little rock on the left hand side that just balances the whole thing up. And I think that the fact that it's blue hour makes everything a very similar tone. Yes, now it might be slightly flatter lighting than I got when the sun rose above the horizon, but even so, it's just something a little bit different. There are still some colours in the sky, and this is my favourite shot from this video. Now, I don't always do a recce before I film a video, but on this particular video, it was really useful because I planned on getting up for a sunrise shoot and had not actually been to this location before. So I visited one afternoon a few days before I actually planned to get up for the sunrise. And I'm really glad that I did because it gave me an impression of the lay of the land, and I got some ideas for places to visit for compositions. And when I got there in the morning for the sunrise, I could be in the right location, because for a sunrise or a sunset for that matter, things happen very quickly and there's only a very small window where you get the really, really great light. So if you're in the wrong place, you're going to lose out on getting that great light. So having this little reconnaissance before I went was really useful. So this video was filmed in 2020, just before Christmas, so it was really cold. You can tell from this shot here that there was frost on the ground, and it was bitingly cold this particular morning. It was well below zero. But I did get a really nice sunrise and some great side lighting on the rocks that I was looking for, and I made sure that I was in the right place at the right time. But while I was waiting for the sun to come up, I did manage to also get some really nice shots of the location. So while I was waiting for the sun to come up, I did have a little scout around the location to see if I could find any alternative compositions. My final composition wasn't very far away from this, so I didn't stray very far, but I thought it was worth just exploring to see if there was anything any better. Now, I do like the way that the path leads you through this shot, and you can see from the path itself how icy it was. It was covered in a layer of ice that was quite treacherous, so it was actually safer walking on the grass than the path itself. But I do like this shot. It's very calm again because the sun hasn't quite come up, so we haven't got the harsh light, but it's still nicely composed and lit well. So once I'd done a little bit of exploring, I ended up back at the location that I wanted to take my main shot from. So I'd got an idea of my final composition that I was really looking to take. And this is it now on the screen before the sun came up. So we've got the main rocks there in the background, the pointed ones, with a rock more in the foreground on the left-hand side, and this tree right in the foreground that actually wasn't very tall. It was only a small sapling, but because it's close to the camera, it seems a lot larger. And it was important to have it breaking the horizon rather than being hidden below the horizon, because otherwise it wouldn't have stood out. So all I needed to do now was wait for the sun to rise and light all the right hand side of the rocks and the tree. Now this is going to be my favourite shot from the morning. Once the sun actually did come up, it really made the whole composition and the whole photograph really come to life. You can see compared to the last image just how different it is with the warm golden sidelight coming across the image. Now this photograph has been entered into quite a few competitions and has been quite successful for me. I just really like the lighting and the composition, and it was really worth doing that recce beforehand to make sure that I was in the right place at the right time. So this is my favourite shot from this shoot. This video remains to be one of my favourite videos that I've ever made because of the results that I got at the end. Now, it is over 2 years old, so the presentation techniques are a little bit dodgy, but if you've not seen this, I would suggest going and watching the whole thing. But I've got a friend who lives very locally, and if you've seen any of my videos where I've taken pictures of the kingfishers, it's on the same property. Now, he'd got this nest box where he'd got some owls that were just about to fledge and leave the nest box, and we were sat down at his house one night and we saw the owls in the nest box, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to take some photographs and also probably make a video as well. Now, I was very new to YouTube at the time, so it's, as I said, a little bit shonky in its presentation style, but even so, the end results, as I said, were really worth it. So the first thing that I realised I'd need to do is set up some kind of hide so I could get close enough to the nest box without disturbing the birds, but still manage to take their photographs. Now, I discussed with the owner about using one of the corrugated arches that he had near to where I wanted to put it, and I spent quite a big portion of the video talking about how I set the hide up. Now, you might notice, if you're familiar with my videos, that this archway did eventually become my kingfisher hide, but before it was a kingfisher hide, I used it to take photographs of these owls. I then went back down to the hide later that evening to try and take some shots of the owls. Little did I know what a good show they would put on. So I did have to sit for quite a while, being quite impatient, waiting for one of the owlets to just pop its head up to have a look out. But when I first saw it, it was amazing. So I got this shot here just as the first one started to peer out. But very shortly, the other one came out too, and they both sat on the edge of the owl box. To be able to just witness something like this was quite amazing. And the owls did sit on the edge of the box there like this for the best part of 15 to 20 minutes. One of them did jump out onto the twig in front and have a little flap about. One of the owlets did drop back down inside the box before then popping back out again to join its sibling. I think this is probably my favourite shot that I got from this shoot, because I just like the way that the two owlets are side by side and virtually looking straight at the camera. It just makes for a really engaging shot, and it was a really great end to this video. Now, this photograph here I did print for my friend, and he's got it framed on the wall in his house. I hope you found this video interesting. When I've made this kind of thing before, people have said how much they enjoy them. So I hope you've taken away something from this video. Now, watch out in the next few weeks for some videos from Italy. Hopefully I should get 1 or 2, maybe even 3 filmed while I'm out there. It depends how much time I get from just having my holiday. But hopefully I shall definitely get something. And if not, I'll definitely share the pictures that I take in a live stream. If you have enjoyed this video, then do let me know down below in the comments, or nip over to my Instagram account, that's @Oakden Photography. You can leave me your comments there, and you can also see lots of my pictures. Now, if you like what I do on the channel and want to help support me to make future content like this, you can also visit my Teespring store. There I've got a range of merchandise on offer, so go and check that out. There's a link for that down below in the description. And there's also the super thanks button that you can click as well. But you don't have to spend any money at all to support the channel. You can do that simply by clicking like, subscribe and the bell notifications, because that really helps me out and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any future content. Watch out for next week's video, that goes live on Sunday. In the meantime, go and check out this video just up here, but all that's left now is to say stay safe, and I'll see you soon.